Hello, everyone, and welcome to another training session from Europe Hotel School, your trusted school training center for hospitality excellence. I'm Alex.
And I'm Lena. Today, we're exploring a topic that requires both sensitivity and professionalism, cultural considerations, and professional boundaries in tipping.
That's right. Tipping customs vary dramatically around the world. And as hospitality professionals, it's crucial to understand these differences while maintaining exceptional service standards.
At Europe Hotel School, we emphasize that knowing the local customs can prevent uncomfortable situations and help staff build positive guest relationships.
Let's start with some examples. In the United States and Canada, tipping is an expected part of many services, typically around 15% to 20% of the total bill.
Mm,
However, even in these countries, it's considered proper etiquette to hint at tipping, but never to ask directly.
In parts of Europe, the approach is slightly different. In countries like France and Italy, service charges often appear on bills, yet guests may leave small voluntary tips as a gesture of appreciation.
And then, in Scandinavian countries, tipping is rare and not expected at all.
Right. In contrast, countries like Japan, South Korea, and China generally consider tipping unnecessary, and sometimes it might even be offensive. So, direct requests for tips in these regions would be culturally inappropriate.
Exactly. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, tipping is accepted but needs to be discreet, and some establishments include service charges in the bill.
Also, in Australia and New Zealand, tipping is optional, yet guests sometimes give small amounts for superior service.
The key takeaway here, which we stress at Europe Hotel School, is that hospitality staff must observe cultural norms and adjust their behavior accordingly.
Right. So, how do you handle tipping situations when guests come from a culture different from your own?
Well, first, um, observe their behavior. Notice if they attempt to leave a tip or if they ask questions about gratuities. And importantly, avoid pressuring guests or making them feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Second, educate politely when asked. If a guest inquires about tipping practices, explain the local customs in a clear and considerate manner. For example, you could say, in our country, tipping is appreciated but entirely voluntary.
Third, respect guest decisions. Some guests may choose not to tip, and as staff, we should never create guilt or pressure. Maintaining professionalism is the priority.
Right, and fourth, always follow your company's policies. Hotels and restaurants may have specific guidelines for gratuities, and staff should adhere strictly to these rules. At Europe Hotel School, policies are there to protect both the guest experience and professional integrity.
Let's check your understanding with a quick quiz. Which of the following demonstrates proper handling of tipping across different cultures? Is it A, asking all guests directly for a tip regardless of culture? B, observing guest behavior, educating politely when asked, and respecting their decisions? Or C, insisting on a tip if it's not included in the bill?
Take a moment to think.
The correct answer is B. Observing, educating, and respecting guests aligns with the professional hospitality standards we teach at Europe Hotel School.
Now, let's move on to professional boundaries. It's important to never demand or insist on a tip, right?
Exactly. Excellent service should always be delivered independently of gratuities. This means focusing on quality service rather than the potential tip amount.
Staff should also refrain from arguing with guests about their gratuities. A professional demeanor must be maintained at all times.
When receiving a tip, always express gratitude with sincere, unpretentious words such as,
Mm,
"Thank you very much, I appreciate it." It's best to avoid excessive excitement or drawing too much attention to the tip.
and secrecy matters too. Tips should never be discussed with other guests or colleagues. At Europe Hotel School, we train our staff to treat gratuities with discretion to maintain professionalism.
Time for our second quiz. Which approach maintains professional boundaries regarding tips? Would it be A, thanking the guest sincerely, keeping tips confidential, and never pressuring them? B, mentioning to all colleagues how generous a guest was? Or C, asking a guest for a tip immediately after delivering service?
Think carefully about that one.
The correct answer is A. Sincere gratitude and confidentiality are key elements of professional boundaries, a principle we emphasize strongly here.
Now, moving on, are there ever situations where it is appropriate to ask about tips directly?
Only in rare cases, really. For example, if a guest initiates the conversation by asking, "Is tipping customary here?" then it is acceptable to provide polite guidance.
Or if the guest requests exceptional assistance that goes beyond the normal scope of service, subtle hints about gratuity might be acceptable, but always tactfully and, always within your company's policies.
Direct requests should never override professional guidelines, no matter the circumstance.
Let's try another quiz. Which scenario allows staff to mention tips appropriately? Is it A, a guest asks if tipping is customary? B, staff demands a tip after every service? Or C, the guest is unaware of tipping customs and staff pressures them?
The correct answer is A. When guests ask, staff can politely educate them. This truly reflects the cultural sensitivity and professional conduct we teach at Europe Hotel School.
All right, now let's talk briefly about subtle strategies to encourage tips without actually asking for them directly.
The main focus is delivering exceptional service consistently, using friendly, professional behavior, remembering guest preferences, and promptly responding to requests builds trust.
Guests often tip generously when they feel appreciated. Plus, other strategies include highlighting service charges politely, showing gratitude during interactions, and providing accessible tipping options without pressuring guests.
Nonverbal cues like a smile or nod can also reinforce local tipping traditions subtly. At Europe Hotel School, we stress that subtle encouragement always works better than direct requests.
Yeah, let's do another quiz. Quiz 4. Which approach best encourages tips without pressuring the guest? A. Delivering exceptional service, showing gratitude, and offering accessible tipping options. B. Asking for a tip directly during check-in. Or C. Ignoring the topic entirely, even if guests want to know.
The correct answer is A. Exceptional service combined with polite guidance encourages generosity naturally, which is the method taught at our school.
Now, here's a final point on maintaining consistency and integrity. Every guest deserves the same professional standard, regardless of their behavior or tipping potential.
Staff integrity is key. It's important to avoid favoritism and ensure every interaction reflects the professionalism expected from our trained staff at Europe Hotel School.
Remember, maintaining cultural awareness, professional boundaries, and subtle encouragement leads to both guest satisfaction and appropriate tipping.
All right, final quiz time. Quiz 5. What is the primary goal when managing tipping in a culturally sensitive and professional way? Is it A, to pressure guests into giving tips? B, to deliver exceptional service while respecting cultural norms and boundaries? Or C, to ask directly for tips from every guest?
The correct answer is B. Prioritizing excellent service and cultural awareness aligns perfectly with the values we instill here at Europe Hotel School.
To wrap up, remember that tipping is as much about cultural understanding as it is about professionalism. Always observe, educate politely, respect guest decisions, and maintain firm boundaries.
By following these principles, you ensure that guests feel comfortable, valued, and appreciated, which naturally encourages tipping when it's appropriate.
That's all from today's session at Europe Hotel School, your school training center for developing world-class hospitality professionals.
Thank you for joining us. Keep practicing these approaches, and you'll notice how professionalism and cultural sensitivity enhance guest experiences and gratuities naturally.
See you in our next training video, where we'll explore more advanced techniques in guest service and hospitality.
Goodbye for now.